have a 16-year-old son, and I know that everything that I do to work with you and to work with these people right here in the long run is not even all about him. It's about his children. It's about their children. So how can we not work together? How can we not say that we are all philanthropists in this community? It would be such a disservice not only to the people we immediately serve, but to the people we're looking to serve in the future. Having said that, our foundation is, and I love this word because to me, we don't like to say anything small. Everything is about semantics. Our foundation is what we like to call, we're a boutique foundation. And I have to say that whenever a gentleman is up speaking and they talk with, baseball or football references, I just think to myself, I have no idea what he just said. I'm going to talk shopping. So we're a boutique foundation. And the way that I like to describe the work that we do is we take a look at community improvement from several different aspects. One would be what I like to call almost a Band-Aid approach, help fix a problem that's a problem right now that might be sort of the low-hanging fruit. What can we put a few dollars to that's really going to help solve that particular issue in a quick and easy manner so that we can then do what we really have been working for the past 8 years to do, which is looking at some deeper community issues. And the deeper community issues that we look to work on with nonprofits in the community and other funders can be in a variety of places. Because it's a family foundation, our board is made up of family members, and not everybody has exactly the same agenda. Everybody looks at the community from a little bit of a different landscape. So maybe education, maybe health, maybe the arts. We're working right now with one of our board members on an ex-offender reentry program. So it can come from just about any place in the community where we see a deep-rooted issue. We look to solve that issue with the assistance of community members and other funders. So we might pull into a room 50 or 60 people at a given point to discuss every possible aspect of that issue in the community, and then try to determine what is the best strategic plan, who are the best partners to have at the table, who are the decision makers relative to that problem, so that we can come together and resolve it the best way we can. And what we try to say is we don't believe that the best way to handle every single problem is putting a Band-Aid on a problem. Because then you're putting a lot of dollars out in the community that help with this little piece and that little piece and the other little piece, but the actual issue has never really been resolved. And so you're going to be putting dollars out in that community over and over and over again, when perhaps if you took a little larger chunk of change, or perhaps if you took the problem from a little deeper toward the root, you would be able to put some dollars in up front that would then be that community improvement and assistance almost from a surgical standpoint rather than a Band-Aid standpoint. So that is a philosophical vision, if you will, of how to help with philanthropy in the community. And that being said, I want to give you an example of a couple of the projects that we've worked on over the years that I think really do sort of get the brain roaming around it a little bit. Years and years ago, 8 years ago, when I first started with the Toppel Family Foundation, we were funding an after-school program at Pine Grove Elementary School. And the program was supporting 100 children, and it was a fairly high cost. It was about $100,000 a year to support those 100 children. So we took a look at the program. We took the very best aspects of the program, and we thought, wow, if those particular pieces of the program are really helping these kids, and we're seeing that they are progressing in some form, number one, let's tie an evaluation to the program so that we have support that this particular project works, so that we can garner partners. Number two, how do we then take this program and offer it to a larger scope of kids in the community? And number three, how do we develop it so that if it is genuinely working, it has a level of perpetuity and resiliency in tough times so that it can be maintained? So we worked with about 16 funder partners in the community And we redeveloped the budget. We worked with the school district. We worked with public and private partners. The Children's Services Council at the time was a partner. I think almost everybody at this table was a partner. And what we did is we rebudgeted. We were able to, for $35,000 to $40,000 a year, work with 4,000 kids at the end of 3 years. So that per site, the cost came down tremendously, obviously. And from what I understand from inside sources, the school district of Palm Beach County now offers it as one of their after-school programming options to all the schools in Palm Beach County. So a secondary program that I want to talk to you about is, that was called the CHAMPS After School Program, in case anybody is familiar with it. The second project that we worked on that I think is also within this philosophy is we looked around. We had been putting some money out of the foundation to work on different early childhood efforts in the community. And we thought, well, we can put our dollars into early childhood pieces in the community, or we can look at a holistic approach of what's going on in early childhood and where are some deep needs. The deep need at the time, and this is going back probably 5 or 6 years ago, was that there was not an affordable generic early childhood degree for a bachelor's degree for early childhood in our community. So we worked with FAU, about 50 organizations in the community, and we reframed that need. And within 3 years, we were able to help accomplish achieving a bachelor's degree in early childhood at FAU that is now offered with about 50 some odd matriculated students. And anybody here who knows, you don't get a degree program approved in 3 years. That just doesn't happen. But I think the power here, and this is how I want to segue this conversation to the power that you have, is that we, as the funders, are only as powerful and only as empowered as you are in the not-for-profit sector. We are philanthropists together. We are partners. We can keep putting money out in the community over and over and over again and get zero result from it. Or we can ask you to be our partner and strengthen yourselves and understand the power that you hold. We are outnumbered. So if you come together, and we throw around the word collaboration a lot, but let me throw it to you a little bit of a different way. If you were to come around and look at what I call transformative adaptive fundraising. Think in your heads that you have the power to transform the way that a community functions and sees an issue, simply by folding the way that you function together. For instance, our community has a lot of issues with foster children. Many, many issues that span from birth through age 21. We understand that after 18, these children are processed out. We understand that they have a limited number of places to go. So rather than coming to the funders in the community in piecemeal around this particular organization or that particular organization, think in a more transformative manner. Come to us around the issue of foster children. Put a cohesive, coherent plan together as a community. How are we, all of us, going to handle the fact that there are X number of foster children aging out in our community? It's not safe on our streets. It's not safe for the kids. It's not safe for our community. So how do we as a community deal with that need? How do we deal with babies who have no place to be cared for? That's not the problem of one agency. That's the problem of our community. So work together, come up with a coherent plan, and tell us, you tell us, here's how we, as the experts in this field, feel that foster children could best be served, and here's how much money it's going to take. And here's our plan on how to help them from the time they're born to the time they're 21 years old. And you will get our interest, I guarantee it. We may not agree on every single piece of the plan, and we may have to have conversations about it, but I guarantee you'll get our interest. So what I suggest in these times, and there's a group, as a matter of fact, the Junior League has been working, and I did a strategic planning session with them a year ago, And several years back, the Schmidt Family Foundation actually initiated the conversation about a not-for-profit group of people working together to fundraise together. And they called it Spirit of Giving. And about a year ago, we had a strategic planning session, actually in our offices, to work with this Spirit of Giving group, and this very concept started to come up in conversation. And this is coming up in a lot of pocket conversations all across the community. And it really is starting to get some feet and get some power. But it really is the way, and there's another group also that's been working together looking at a nonprofit chamber. Well, yes, the thought process, I think, is going in the right direction. You as nonprofits have the capacity and the power and the management ability. Show us. Tell us. Give us a plan. But what you have to do, and I know this is not always you in the development office, but talk to your executive directors. Talk to the leadership of your board members. Explain to them that the funders are saying, give us a coherent, cohesive plan of action. Be our partner in the community. Give us an issue that we can rally around. Don't give us a piecemeal. Let's work on some issues together. And I think that that's something that you've heard as we've all been speaking. So I want to close by simply saying that we are all philanthropists, and we all have the power to make change. But we can make that change only, especially in these economic times, by working together. And I think we can do it. Thank you.